reactions. What's the topic today? Look, you never know. It's DeeDee's reactions, real life reviews with a real one for sure.
What's up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. So I am back with another reaction video. Now, this video comes from the Ask a Brother podcast. This therapist is cooking, and he's all over social media, growing as we speak. He's been really cooking and giving some good information out here, stuff that we already kind of know, but he's touching on it, and he's giving it from his perspective, which is a good one from what I've been hearing. And so I saw this clip of him on the Fresh and Fit podcast, and I thought what he was saying was spot on. This is something that we've been hearing in this space for quite some time. And the way he delivers the message, I really appreciate how he puts it out there. Hopefully we can, women can start to listen to it and start to kind of really see what is happening and maybe possibly make some changes. That's all we're saying, that the way a lot of women have been taught or trained to think and the way that they move is not conducive to healthy, stable relationships. And because there are still a lot of women out here who say they want good men, they have to understand that they've come across good men in their lifetime, but they weren't either ready for that good man, or they just didn't recognize him, or they just didn't want him. So I think this is an interesting point that he's speaking on. And I think it's a very valid one. And I really wish women would grasp some of this information, because it could definitely be beneficial to you if you really want a stable, healthy relationship with the man. That's all it's about. So we're going to go ahead and get into the clip. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you like the content, share and like the video, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. All right? All right, let's get into the video. Here we go.
I heard like 10 different things going on between the men and women, and I'm going to try my best based on what I heard and key points that I took away from what a lot of you were stating, and then what I think is probably going on. You said an excellent point, and your point about the tolerance factor, the acceptance factor. I don't think you all realize how significant that is when you were younger and you picked the wrong guys that you now know in hindsight weren't good for you. There were good guys there the whole time. They were legit nice dudes. Facts. Corny, lame, nerds. That was me. Guys that were still students.
But you don't.
Yeah. So hold on. Just to clarify, for every man that you picked, there was a man you didn't. Right. So just peep and catch that for a second. For every man that you picked, there was a man that you omitted. Right?
Or 50.
Right? Or 50, to be fair, right? So when you're expecting men that you didn't want, that you didn't take, that you didn't go out with, to wait around to when you may feel like dating them, what human being deserves to live like that? There's a segment of black men,
that's a good point,
who actually do like and love black women. Wanted them. I went to school with them, and I'm going to give you an example from y'all gonna hate me now, of how horrible I was back in the day in my prime. When I was in college, me and my very, very small cohort of guys that was going to a predominantly white institution, a PWI, we ran the school. We ran all up and through the school. All right. So for every woman and we were sharing the same women. We didn't realize it. We learned out later on when we talked with, yo, you messed around with so-and-so. So what we learned and observed, there were hundreds of guys that were going to the school we was going to, taking the classes we were going to, and they kept coming back to the very guys that wasn't even being in commitments, wasn't even locking it down. So what's his name? The football player that everybody's wondering about, Travis.
Oh yeah, he's.
This is an excellent example.
He's cooked
of how everybody knows the story. Everybody's talking about the warning, but nobody's talking about all the women that didn't want him until they learned his name.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. And this is stories that we've heard many times where men. We've heard several athletes talk about this. We've heard several men in general talk about this. that they were, back in college or high school, they weren't the popular guy. The women weren't, chasing behind them or trying to get with them. They wanted the popular dudes. And then when these men, got older and they, became, the men that they are today, when they blossomed and they turned into these handsome men and with these good careers, and now they're that dude. A lot of these women are looking like, wait a minute, are you Johnny from high school? Oh my God, you look so different. Oh my God. Oh, you really grew into your manhood, things like that. That's the type of things that they start saying. And now, all this time, guess what? They're single. They haven't been able to lock down a stable man for years. And then now they looking at you like, oh, that might be a come up. Now, ooh, what you doing? Oh, now you trying to holler at him, and guess what? He don't want you now. Because he remembers distinctively how you probably, brushed him off to the side. You were not interested. You didn't want him. You clowned him. And he will never forget that. These men will never forget that. So when they finally get to their status, and they've grown into their manhood, they're not thinking about you now because they have the pick of the litter. Now they have women who are running after them, wanting to be with them, and they have options. Now, while you was the hot piece back in the day and you didn't want to pay him any attention, now you're the washed up one, and now he's in he's doing well. Now you're looking over thinking, damn, I should have paid attention to him. I should have not dissed him. While those guys you were chasing, there was never a future with them. There was never a future with them. They was just using you for a good time. And this is the same scenario we see over and over and over and over and over again. It's the same old story repeating itself. And this is why I don't understand how people, especially women, don't look at these situations or pay attention to the past and what's happening and how this stuff is repeating itself. They keep, I guess, glossing over the reality of what's happening and still looking for this delusional outcome. And all you're doing, in my opinion, is setting yourself up for failure. You're not actually doing anything to enhance your outcome. You're just keeping yourself stagnant, and you're with this ideas and this superficial, delusional idea that you're going to manifest something out of nothing. A lot of women know this, believe it or not. A lot of women know that they passed up good guys. A lot of women leave good men, divorce good men in the name of Jesus, in the name of, oh, he just wasn't my person. Oh, he was a great guy. He loved me. He treated me so well, but he still wasn't enough for you. And then you end up going on this press tour trying to find this perfect man better than what you've had. And you end up at a loss because you can't find it because it probably doesn't exist. You probably had the best guy that you ever was going to get in your entire life and you blew it. You let him walk out the door and you thought that you could find something 10 times better. And when you don't, now all these men are just this and they're just horrible and they're no good and they're this and all that. Now you got all these endless amounts of excuses to try to make your poor decisions look good. Try to make yourself feel good because you know that you messed up. You know you made a mistake and now you're going to regret it. So I just think a lot of women have come across men that would have been great husbands, good fathers, and somebody that you could actually build a stable life for, but they passed them up to go play freaky games with a hot football player that every girl wants. So y'all all want to chase the same dude, fighting over the same dude, and he really don't want any of you. This is still the scenario that we see today. Everybody wants the celebrity. Everybody wants the rich guy. All the women are pining and fighting to get a piece of this guy. And 9 times out of 10, he doesn't want any of y'all. If that's what you want and you want your life to be a representation of that, then by all means do it. But I don't think it's a fulfilling way to live your life. And I really don't think that is a way to be happy. And a lot of women always talk about their happiness, but I don't think that that's the way for you to gain happiness. It just makes you more bitter, more confused, and more depressed, in my opinion. Let's continue.
So what I'm saying is
yeah, they still don't want him.
So they want what he got, right? But the point I'm making is, a lot of women, Dr. Umar, who's going through his own challenges right now, he brought up a key point about the finish line. That when you were in high school, if you did go to college, there was an opportunity when you all can choose, your father's not picking your partner, it's sexual liberation, you could pick your own partners. There were young men who were freshmen like you were. We started experiencing this in high school. When we were sophomores, the sophomore girls wanted to date the juniors. When we got to juniors and seniors, they're dating 24-year-old men.
Yep.
When we get to college, a lot of men were seeing the same exact thing. They were going for the older guys that were in school, the guys that were out of school, or the small subset of men that was in the school that can get all the girls.
Super cool.
Right? So what we're seeing, a lot of men are seeing, there's a huge pool of men that don't qualify for you.
Right.
You're not interested in them. You're not checking for them. You want the guy that's fun, that's charismatic, that the other women also want. A lot of you did that. Not all, but many of you did that. So the first issue is a lot of men are reacting and responding based off of where they're getting accepted. Where they're getting accepted. You all don't know what it's like to not be accepted from 18 to 28.
How you gonna say
What
that?
I mean by that is all of you will get attention from men. All of you will get pursued. All of you have been asked out. We are the pursuers. We're the initiators of asking and pursuing. So when you're the guy that keeps getting declined, or they're not even checking for you, I literally went to a wedding 2 years ago of a guy whose father won the lottery. Nobody knows about it. But because he's not the most handsome, charismatic, good-looking, fit dude, he only wanted to date black women. And none of them wanted him for his entire 20s.
Wow.
He ends up with a white woman. And everybody's now saying, see, that's all you wanted. And I'm gonna land. So the first issue is you got to acknowledge that not all, but many of the men, it's not even that they have to come from a place of being jaded and hating black women. They just go where they're accepted.
Is that what you're...
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. And this is what men have been saying. And this is what men tell other men. Hey, go where you're accepted. Go where you're loved, where you're wanted. Because you hear a bunch of women say, we don't want dusties. We don't want this. We don't want the lames. So who are you talking to? And then a lot of these women, act so brand new. If a guy does approach them, if he's not what she is looking for just off of the way he looks, oh my God, they're very dismissive. They're very rude to a lot of these men. Oh my God, why are you approaching me, you dusty? Oh my God, do I look like your type? Stuff like that. And so, but then these dudes turn around. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what position in life they're in. You don't know what they got going on for themselves. You just see them at a glance and you're like, oh God, he ain't my type. Oh, oh Lord, look what he wearing. You know what I'm saying? Women do this a lot. And they dismiss these guys, but then these same guys, they turn, they're working on things and turn their life around and they become something. These very same women will be the ones running after. These very same women are the ones who will see some type of value in him. But this is why I say, women are focused on the things that really don't matter when it comes to stable, healthy relationships in men. They don't look for the quality of the man. You don't look at the type of man, his personality, things about his person. You're looking at superficial things about him to determine whether he's your type or not. And then they wonder why they keep picking these so-called abusers and these men who are narcissists and these men who treat them badly. It's because you're not focused on the right types of men. You're focusing on the men who have the superficial things that you are attracted to. And that does not equate to healthy, stable relationships. You think that you're going to get a man who's a narcissist, who's abusive, who's selfish, who doesn't care about your feelings or anything else about you. He talks to you crazy, but you go after him because he look good. He drive a nice car. He has a cute watch on and he got some clean shoes on and he looks trendy and he got braids and he's your type. He's tall. He has all of the things that you like physically, but beyond that, he's a jerk. He's an asshole. He does not know how to treat you, nor does he care. But y'all try to force a relationship with those types of men, thinking that you could change him and thinking you can make him into and mold him into what you want him to be. And he's not gonna allow you to do that. Most men aren't. But if you go after a man that has the qualities for a loving husband that will be there, love you and respect you and give you what you need, these women run away from that. You run away from that. It's because you're not looking for the right things when you're looking for a mate. And so this is why a lot of these women are distraught and angry and mad, because they can't get exactly what they want in the thug life type mixed with, a loving husband. If they could have that thug, be that thug, but also be nurturing and loving to you and committed to only you and come home at night and treat you right, they would be in heaven. Because they get the best of both worlds. Because they don't know how to love a man who is just a good man. And so they're finding it out, but they're still trying to blame men and find a way to say, that's not what it is. These men don't want to give us what we want. No, what y'all want is delusional. And you don't want to accept that, but you're still trying to force a narrative that just can't be forced. And this is why, partly why the dating pool is the way it is, because the women don't realize themselves and what they're doing and how they're going about finding the type of men they say they want. Let's continue.
Accept it.
Hold on.
That's at the level that you can retain commitment.
Let me hear what you're saying. Let me hear what she's saying.
Yeah, go ahead. She's just saying, like, if you, like, okay, I'm settling for, if you will tell a woman, in other words, she's just like saying, make the language equal for both sides. So if you're gonna say that a woman is gonna settle, like if I am with a white man because that's what likes me, you're gonna say, okay, you're settling for a white man. That's what she's trying to say. But if you say I'm going with a white woman because that's who likes me, they say go where you're appreciated. That's what she's trying to say. So she's saying you're settling for a white woman and I'm settling for a white man. We're settling for less, essentially.
No. It's not. Hold on. That's not the same thing, though.
I don't agree.
Okay, I kind of remember my thought. Can I come back to it? Because it's gonna tie all this together, right? So the same way there is a pool of black men that are being overlooked, those same black men, there's a pool of black women that they're overlooking. Because let's be real. No, currently, let's be real. Most people like who don't like them, right? So you might be a 5, you looking at a 10. Let's be real. You can't be mad that all the 10s don't like you, but you're a 5. And there's probably a 5 looking at you, and you're not looking at
dudes
them.
Dudes aren't mad at that, though. Dudes generally speaking aren't mad at that, though. They understand the game.
The problem is, in school, all the hot black girls didn't want us. Back then.
But like
Mike Jones, though, we back now with some money. Now they want us, but they can't get us.
But high school is not your home.
So just
I know
that sounds like insecurity.
So
you need to go heal your childhood wounds.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Just about this piece of what you just brought up. This is the confusion when it comes to understanding the male experience and the female experience when it comes to dating and relationships. Unless you all are virgins, and unless you all have never been in relationships before, you don't know what it's like when it comes to never being desired. What you learn and find out later on, after your teens and potentially your 20s, and how long it takes before you fall off, is that your options start to decline. There are men that never had options
to begin with.
This is an entirely different frame of reference.
Completely different.
You cannot take the super successful men and say that's the experience for most men.
Right.
I am screaming at the top of my lungs and trying to tell y'all, there are dudes that, when you came here, there were dudes that you walked past, there were dudes that serviced you, there were dudes that do all types of things that are invisible to you. They're invisible to you. That's their life. Y'all start experiencing that when physical things start to decline, when you start adding additional things in your life that now are burdens for the next man.
Buying your own drinks.
And you don't typically know, and you don't always typically know what the quote unquote invisibility factor is until you get older and you have to start buying your own drinks. So I've literally heard women have told me this in therapy sessions. You can look it up and go on YouTube and type in women being invisible, and you'll start to see the decline. The reason why it's so distressing to them is because they went from 18 or 16 to 35 or 40 before they started even experiencing that. Oh, people ain't asking me out as much.
It's not their norm.
There's guys that was never a norm for them, ever. Right. So what I'm speaking to is there's a segment of men, some of them end up in anger and they lash out at black women. They use these podcasts and spaces to talk about how horrible women are. There's other men who go where they're appreciated. There's other men that go abroad But what I'm saying is be very mindful and careful. If y'all don't want all of you to be viewed and seen in a negative light, and for all black women this, all black women that. I was in an interracial relationship. Y'all have been in interracial relationships. I don't assume that you hate the black community when you did. But there's assumption that when we do it, we do.
Facts.
Exactly. He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And and my thing is, I think these conversations are necessary because it opens your eyes to the truth of what men face versus what women face. And it shouldn't be an issue of women and men hating each other, especially in the black community. It should be a way to bridge the gap. It should be a way for women, black women and men to understand each other on a much better level so that you can work together. It shouldn't be a fight to just understand the other person's perspective. It should be an eye opener to say, hey, I never noticed that. I never understood what men went through. I never even thought about it. I was so focused on myself that I never even thought about what black men go through, what they have to deal with, as opposed to just trashing them and saying, oh, y'all are just at the bottom of the barrel. Y'all ain't worth it, this and that, yada, yada, yada. But then still want those same men to turn around and treat you like queens and princesses and give you the world. And the expectations for them is through the roof of how you want them to treat you. But you don't realize how you just dismantle them and how you just, put them down and made them feel like they were nothing. But you want them to rise to the occasion. That doesn't work like that. You can't put a group of men down and then expect them to run to you and bow at your feet to treat you in the most highest regard. Those men are going to go and look elsewhere for someone who knows how to treat them and respects them and actually see value in them. So, I just think it's a conversation that we keep hearing. We've been hearing it for quite some time. And I think it's necessary. And I think the way it's being presented, especially in this particular way, is important because maybe it will cause women to listen and open their ears and not be so quick to judge, but to listen and try to understand men. And also men understand them so that we can actually get to a better place so that we can actually build our communities back and hopefully have a better relationships between black women and men and not just this catfight and this war against each other, because at the end of the day, we need each other. You can accomplish so much more together than by yourself. That's just my thoughts on it. So listen, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Also subscribe to the channel if you like the content. Share and like the video and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. All right. So definitely chime in and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.